It's 7/7, the day of the annual shareholders meeting. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about what we expect to see in Ryan Cohen's statement, potentially, maybe review some of his past statements. And right now it is 9:15 a.m. Central. The shareholder meeting starts in 45 minutes. So we will be live reacting post shareholder meeting and during, right? We'll be playing it live here. And over the next 45 minutes, we'll just be talking about what we kind of expect to see, what we're looking forward to seeing, etc. And then if you're watching this after the fact and you want to just skip to the shareholder meeting, go to about the 45-minute mark, and we will be there. Let me see here if I go ahead and share my screen, if that will carry over. And welcome to the chat. What's up, Clark Kent? What's up, Jacob? What's up, Chris? Garcon, let's go. Tone, Jack, Jonathan. It is go time. It is go time. Down Wego, always with the friendly reminder to hit the like. I am on vacation, so my background is not the normal background because I'm not in the normal place. Aging Wheat Farmer Y2K Sub Club representative. Let's go. Aaron, Jeremy, it's go time, baby. The DCS watching from Conroe, Texas. Aaron is slapping the like. Garcon says, if we moon, will you say Jack to the Tatas? I cannot confirm whether I will say that. But I did just say it. Aaron, a Halo Sub Club representative. What is up? The DCS watching from Conroe, Texas. Right up the road. Except I'm normally based in the Houston area, but not right now. So I'm further up the road right now. Anyone else watching from the grand state of Arkansas? Little underrated gym, that Northwest Arkansas. Garcon says I'll take the win. Nice. Jack in Idaho. So sub clubs, right? If you were a sub from 0 to 2000, you are a Y2K sub club member and also a beneficiary member of all preceding sub clubs, right? You get your sub club and you can also claim all of the others that come subsequently. After Y2K, there's the Halo sub club, which happened from 2000 to 2525, and then from 2526 to 3776 was the Pokey sub club. And now we are in the Staying Alive sub club, which is from 3777 all the way to 5555. And when we cross 5,000 subs, we will pull a Neutronium power pack. And as you guys know, I've been pulling some power packs up here in the channel where we are spending money at GameStop over $1 per sub. Right? I'm smoking you guys right now. Smoking you guys. And enjoying it. RG also from Conroe. Let's go. We gotta do a Conroe. We gotta do something in Conroe. I did want to say thank you though to those who've joined the channel as fans and friends. All the earnings go to DRS Book GME shares. And right now, we are still in the money on the Budget for Life Infinity Pool. So kudos to you guys, and we'll see how the stock reacts to some fun price action, potentially, or maybe nothing following the shareholders meeting. Cards purchased, not yet sold, right? There you have it. Much better to purchase and not yet sell than to sell and not yet purchase, right? The short sellers found that one out. Sold, not yet purchased. Not the right move. Not the right move. This is what the shareholder meeting sounds like right now, by the way. Let's see it, sound check if y'all can hear this. Relax. Darren says, name here. Okay, great. Wait. Um, what about my voice? When I'm talking over that, can y'all hear my voice as well? Or Justin says that music has copyrights. Is that true? This tone says some Yellowstone-ish, right? I feel like yeah, I'm on the open prairie right now. Aaron says you were much quieter when the music was on. Okay, I'm low with the music. Okay, okay. Agent says can't hear you speak over the music. Okay, I could turn the music down. Um, I won't be talking too much over the annual shareholder meeting regardless, but if I do talk, I'll make sure to turn it down. Justin says people have had YouTube live streams ended exactly for playing holding music. Well, there you go. I will try not to play the holding music then because we're not trying to get this live stream to end. You know what I mean? Thanks for the jewels, Alpha David. I appreciate it. As we get heating up here, like I probably won't be able to see every chat. So of course, if you want to make sure I see it, leave a super, but never any pressure or expectation to by any means. Um, Annual shareholder meeting. Historically, historically, what happens during these meetings? Basically, they say, here's item one, two, three, four. Here's how the votes came in. And then they just hang up the phone, right? That's it. The past, for sure, the last annual shareholder meeting, and I think that's it. I think just the last one. Like in 2022, Ryan Cohen gave a statement. Most of the years he gives a statement, but in 22, 23, his statement was, and in 21, maybe it was 21 and then 23, 24, and he skipped 2022. All his statements were just about Wall Street, right? The corruption. He didn't really give much perspective on GameStop. He didn't really talk about the business. He just kind of shared, hey, we're working hard, we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're not spending time on slide decks, we're not, you know, dis or misincentivized from shareholders, right? We are aligned. He just basically said, trust me, bro, for 3 or 4 years. And one of those years, he didn't even make a statement. So the shareholder meeting, right, it got all this every year, there's this hope, right? And okay, we could finally see Moaz. We could finally just lay the cards down on the table, right? Some super exciting speculation. And then what ends up happening is like, man, that was actually pretty pretty lame. Last year in 2025, it still wasn't an explosive day on the stock, but Ryan Cohen actually spoke about the company. Like he actually gave some level of strategy, right? Some level of, hey, here's kind of like what we're thinking we might do, which became very important, like super helpful to glean from his perspective. And I'll go ahead and pull the transcript from 2025. And I think this year we might see even more business-focused discussion? And could he even, narrow in on the eBay acquisition pursuits, add a little bit of context there, or maybe even some new information there? I think it's very possible. Um, so of course that's what we'll be watching for. Justin says he will be catering to eBay shareholders. Certainly eBay shareholders will be tuned in. Let's see if we can find Ryan Cohen's 2025. Oh, here, maybe it's in this post right here. So you can see, right? It's not long. And this is all we got, right? Other than that, it's just the proxy results, which we'll cover here as well. But Ryan Cohen's statement a year ago, I'll keep this brief and to the point. The first quarter of 2025 was our first profitable quarter since 2019. It's the results of cutting costs, reducing excess inventory, streamlining headcount, closing unprofitable stores, exiting underperforming geographies, and focusing on the core fundamentals of the business. We are focusing on trading cards as a natural extension of our existing business. So, hey, we are on the right track. We're turning the company around. How have we done it? We've fired a ton of people. We've closed a ton of stores. We've exited entire cities that we don't even need to have a store in anymore, and entire countries that we don't need to have a store in, right? That is how we have become profitable, is by getting smaller and focusing on our best regions. Here's how we're going to grow from here. Trading cards. The trading card market, whether it's sports, Pokemon, or collectibles, is aligned with our heritage. It fits our trade-in model, it appeals to our core customer base, and it is deeply embedded in physical retail. Unlike software, it's tactile. Unlike hardware, it has high margin potential. This was huge when Ryan Cohen said it. And when he said it, we were around here, right? These Q2 numbers hadn't even come out yet, right? We were in the gap between Q1 and Q2 of 2025. He's saying this when collectibles were 211 million in sales. Just a year later, they're 350 million in sales, right? They had just announced, prior to these statements, they had announced their PSA partnership, which was exciting, right? Everything they were saying was pointing towards the collectibles focus. And it's like we heard him, but I don't think anyone realized just how substantial and just how quickly this was going to transform GameStop's business. Um, it also highlights the problems with GameStop's legacy business, right? The problem with software is it's going digital, right? There are physical games, but Cohen has been pretty clear from the jump of his involvement in GameStop that GameStop's competitive position within software is poor. It's going more and more digital, and GameStop cannot compete as currently constructed meaningfully in the digital space. So Cohen's like, hey, here's the big problem with our legacy software business. It's going online, and we are a store. Okay, do we have a website? Yes. But even websites are places people go to buy things, usually, right? We can't compete with in-console marketplaces that show up as soon as people log in, right? It requires so many extra steps for someone to buy a digital game from GameStop compared to from the producers themselves. What's the problem with the hardware business? It's low margin, right? Software is going digital and we are competitively disadvantaged. Hardware is never going to make super high margins. Can we incrementally improve the margins? Yes, but it's not a high margin business, strictly speaking. Cards are both physical intrinsically and high margin. Not only that, GameStop customers really like cards. Not only that, it fits perfectly within trade-in, right? It is, as Ryan Cohen said, a logical expansion. Then he goes and talks about kind of more, I guess, like corporate politics speaks, like, hey, thank you to the people running our stores, and a little bit of, shots fired again at corporate America, etc. JD says audio needs work. Doesn't it always, JD? Doesn't it always? Punky, solid squeeze, Peter, great to see you guys. Some lovely music, right? There it is. There it is, Peter. Sounds a little echoey. That's because it is. Okay, so if I talk quieter, does the audio actually sound better? Does it sound better if I talk quieter? What do you think, Punky? How does it sound? Deep Stretches says, Good morning, G America. Peter doesn't hear the audio at all. Are you talking about from the annual meeting or are you talking from me, Peter? Because I'm not playing the audio from the annual meeting. I'm not playing it right now. Are you saying you can't hear me, Peter? Chris says, I think it sounds fine. Thanks, Chris. Look, I'm traveling, guys. I'm in a small room. It's going to be a little echoey. But if I could talk quieter, try to eliminate some of the echo. I've got some blankets and pillows throughout the floor in here. Maybe I could lay out a few more of them. Peter says I sound fine. Hey, my normal room also has windows, Punky. It's not a basement. It's an office. Garcon, I think last year's meeting was during market hours as well. So last year, Cohen makes some big statements that didn't seem too big at the time, right? He's always very matter of fact, very straight to the point. But the implications of these statements, this first half of his brief, was actually like hugely consequential in terms of giving people an idea of what the future is looking like for GameStop. Margins are going to come up. Physical retail is about to become more important, right? Our store count, our stores are about to become more profitable, right? Like, and the amount of trade-in activity, foot traffic, etc., that we'll be able to do in our stores is about to go up a lot, primarily through collectibles. Now, this is before GameStop had any forward guidance. And now, right, the GameStop of today has forward guidance. So now that they have forward guidance, does that mean that they will talk about their forward guidance? Right? Most people do. What's up, Adam? Great to see you. They've already come out with guidance, so do they, in their meeting, share some more about what they expect in the fiscal year? Maybe how do they expect to do this? Right? We saw last year, hey, here's what we've done and here's how we've done it. So now that they've gone out and said, here's what we're going to do they add some clarity on here's how we're going to do it? I'm sure there will still be something thanking GameStop employees, and I'm sure there's still going to be something taking a shot at corporate America. But one big question is, do they add any commentary to the 2026 outlook, right? The actual business performance. The other question is, of course, as it relates to their pursuit of eBay, right? They like Cohen's gone harder and harder. Like he is, he's gone very public, lots of interviews, very clearly, hey, we're going to try to buy eBay. And he's kind of like, I'm fixing to. like he's not really leaving much up to question. So how much does eBay get in the annual shareholder meeting? How much time, how many words, right? Does he share more about how they plan to do it? We also not only have they generally said they're going to try to acquire eBay, but in this fiscal outlook, they said additional materials are forthcoming, right? Like he they've said they're gonna share more about their eBay acquisition, and they haven't yet. So do they use the shareholder meeting as the opportunity to do so? GameStop will release additional materials regarding its proposed acquisition of eBay this week, including a detailed presentation of the strategic rationale and operational plan for the combined company. What do you guys think? Have you seen this yet? No. This is a promise not yet fulfilled. This is a promise not yet fulfilled. So when and how do we see these additional materials? This would be a natural time, right? They're coming online to talk to us. They said, here's what we're about to do. They haven't done it yet. Like this would be a natural time to share what exactly those detailed additional materials are regarding its proposed acquisition. You know what I mean? This is probably what I'm most highly anticipating within the shareholder meeting, and it would break a little bit of precedent. Again, historically, these shareholder meetings are very dry. They're historically very dry. But what is different now? One thing that's different is we have forward guidance. We didn't have that before. Another thing that's different is they have publicly said that they want to acquire eBay and that it's the focus. That's never been the case before. Another thing that's true is a lot of people's hesitation with GameStop's pursuit of eBay is a lack of materials, right? I need more details. I need to see how this will work, right? Cohen's talked about it again and again on interviews, but people are like, look, I need to know, right? That 20 billion that's highly confident, I need to know that it's there. Like all these kind of missing pieces that some people want to see before they get all on board the hype train of the eBay acquisition. So that's something that's new. And then of course, this is new, right? GameStop literally has made a public statement that additional materials, details are coming this week, and it's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and we haven't gotten this. A detailed presentation. So I don't know. I think we will see a detailed presentation of the strategic rationale and operational plan for the combined company during this shareholder meeting. And if we do, it's totally possible that this shareholder meeting is the I don't know, the fuse, the light, the thing that triggers the boom, right? Like this could be this could be pretty impactful, not just to clarity on the coming 12 months and general trajectory of the company. This could actually be very impactful, like starting now, near term, this Armageddon, right, where the warrants expire in October, the eBay pursuit intensifies, like this could be the beginning of a really meaningful rally on the stock. Certainly could be. Jordan says it better be because I'm tired, boss. Yeah, so let's talk price action. We've got, where's old GME? 2234. A little bit of downward trajectory heading into the meeting. Still up 1.5% on the week, right? We were chilling at 20, 21. It's just crazy. Just crazy. But yeah, do we kind of hold support at 22 and rally? I don't even think this is really a technicals focused price action. But yeah, usually if people are selling the rumor, that means they might buy the news, right? If the anticipation period, the stock is heading one way, that could signal that it heads the other way after the actual information comes out, right? They're trying to shake out maybe a couple paper-handed investors before this detailed presentation comes out. Good for shizzle. I do think it'll be just audio, but we'll see. Adam just posted the stream to both subs. Thanks, Adam. Easy Rider says, glad to see you streaming this. I managed to get myself to 9K shares. Wow. Had to buy 50 just now. Way to go. 9K shares. Very impressive. I personally have scooped up a good chunk of shares in this little crazy window, May, June, July, that we've been trading around 22. I have scooped up some shares. Let's see, in that window, let me actually give you the actual total number. I've scooped up 2,900 shares in this little stretch here, this little 8, 9 week stretch, whatever that is. And I am not upset about that at all. Not one bit. Adam. Adam Clark says, Adam, aka Jeremy, LOL. They knew it. You're me. They got me. It's crazy. I don't even know how to do that. Literally, I don't even know how to post on Supersonic. And I also don't know how to comment in my chat without like as someone else, you know? Like this is my only YouTube account. It's me, Adam. That's what it looks like when I type in the chat. Aaron says, Jeremy scooped up more shares than I own altogether. Well, I also have a lot of debt, Aaron, so you might not envy me. I'm like as bullish as I could ever be on any company ever in my life. And so I like am comfortable being genuinely very aggressive at this point. Easy Rider says, I was thinking of DRSing some of my YouTube income like you do. It's a really cool idea to keep the community motivated. Thanks, Easy Riders. Also, congrats on having YouTube income. Let's check out Easy Riders. Should we give you a little shout out? Where is E? No, no. Oh, there's Easy Riders. Look, Easy Riders. 21K subs. That's cool. Here's Easy Riders channel. If anyone wants to go sub, show some support to the general community. he makes some money over there and he's thinking about buying some GME with it. If you want to test some AI models and learn awesome stuff. Very cool, Easy Riders. Very cool. Punky says, I paid off my credit cards this week, and now the evil voices in my head are telling me to pile into more stocks. Love it. Aaron says, that's true. I just don't have anything leveraged, even though I'm just as bullish. Yeah, and I wouldn't, again, I don't make financial advice on these videos. And even with my client, there's 50 households or so that I do provide financial advice for on a person-to-person basis. And none of them have I recommended that they go borrow money to invest. Like it's just a very aggressive decision to do. It's a very risky decision to do. And it has caused me and my family an immense amount of pain. Like it's not something that's like the feather in my cap. At times it has been, but it cuts both ways. So I'm not telling any of you guys to go borrow money and buy GME. Aaron says, Jeremy, when GME pops off, you are my go-to for a financial advisor. Thanks, Aaron. That means a lot. I appreciate it, and yeah, I'd be happy to help you. Adam just subbed to Easy Rider. Let's go. You're welcome. Easy Rider says, "Oh man, you didn't have to do that. Thanks though. I was just trying to say I appreciate what you do. Thanks." I know, Dixie. A lot of people really don't like that I use Robinhood. I don't have money with them. I'm just costing them money. I'm not making them money. But I do like their chart, and I'm hoping that they can be acquired by a company with a soul. That's kind of my that's kind of my big hope. If I could use Robinhood's UI, and like if Cohen bought Robinhood, that'd be cool. Like Robinhood with a soul is a great product. Um, but it is funny. It certainly does not give me much clout within the GME community, that's for sure. Clark Kent has been in from the early days and is up to 30K shares. Let's go. Congrats, Clark Kent. Username checks out. You are a superhero. Justin is with that. Cohen buying Robinhood. D. Dunt says, so GME pops off and you'll advise to hold GME. Yeah, so like the reality of financial advice is it's very person to person. Like even if you wanted to be 100% GME, you could still you could still be better off having someone as a sounding board, particularly at understanding your financial capacity, understanding your time horizons, right? What is the purpose of this portfolio? What are the ideal entry points and exit points? Are we trimming and buying like but yeah, generally speaking, if you knew you want to be 100% GME and you don't want to hear anything else, and you had an infinite amount of time, like you never use any of the money ever, then like sure, yeah, of course, at that point you shouldn't hire anyone. But if at some point, whether it's a year, 5 years, 20 years, if at some point you will need to use funds from your investments, then planning and strategy becomes valuable, whether from a tax saving perspective, optimizing returns perspective. It could be a diversification, other opportunities, right? Some of y'all know, like, I'm an early Tesla investor. Some of you guys hate Tesla. That's fine with me too. But if from fall of 2019 to spring of 2021, if you turned $10,000 into $500,000 through Tesla stock, would that have benefited you? Would that have then given you even more dry powder to leg into GameStop? Probably so. So my hope with anyone that I ever work with is that they make way more than I cost, right? I'm not trying to drain someone's assets. I'm trying to enhance and increase someone's assets. You know what I mean? So anyways, but it's case to case. The first consult with anyone is always free. So yeah, if at any point you're like, hey, I wonder if Jeremy can help me, we can have a meeting and we can figure out like, can I help you? And I would tell like there are people I've told that I can't help, or that it just doesn't make sense to help. Like I could help, but if I were you, I wouldn't do it because I don't think it's in your best interest. You know what I mean? So, but if there's a win-win, right? If I can earn a fair wage and someone financially will be better off, like even net of my fee, they'll be better off, then that's what I'm looking for, right? So some people I can help and some people it's not the best fit. That's why there's an application process. And that's why I always make that consult free so that no one has to feel like they're committing, that they are stuck. There's also not any like time commitment. So someone could hire me and then fire me a week later. And it's like, great. Like people never transfer their money to me. That's not how it works. I'm not a hedge fund. You're not wiring money to a guy on YouTube. Like it's your account. You see every trade, you see every position, right? It's your money in your name in a fiduciary relationship, and you're just authorizing me to place trades on the account, to manage the account, but it's totally liquid, right? It's 1 day away from your bank account every day for the rest of your life. You never have to leave it in there. So, anyways, that's a little bit about how that works. I think I figured I would clear that up, even though none of y'all are really asking. But um, Punky asked, "What's my fee?" We are 8 minutes out, by the way. 8 minutes out. Let's go. Um, Black Germerican says, "Thanks for all your videos. Don't listen to the bots and shills that try to discourage you in your videos on Reddit. Thanks for all you do. Seriously. Thank you. I appreciate it." Bato Boy says, "Let's go. Love it." Q&A is open in the meeting, FYI. Okay. Q&A is open. Where even is the Q&A? Oh, I got to show the proxy materials too. So SEC filing, this is the proxy, right? So the fee question, it's person to person. It depends how you want to hire me. Is this it? So some people pay me a fee like to advise, like if you wanted to manage your own money, you don't want me to manage it, but you just want to consult me, like you want to pick my brain, you want to like maybe get my 2 cents. Like, hey, let's just do one meeting or let's do 5 meetings and then I'll call you if I ever need you again, right? Then we just set up a one-time fee based on how much time do you need from me? Almost kind of like a lawyer, just kind of billable hours, like let's do this project. Let's get your plan in place. Let's give feedback on your portfolio. Let's talk about your risk reward, right? Just like here's what I would advise you, and then you just take the torch and go do it yourself. That's just some type of price that again it can vary depending on how intense of a project do you need. You know what I mean? But again, the idea is still, will I make you more than I cost you? And the other way is where I'm managing the money, and then it's a fee with that deducts automatically from the account itself. I send you a confirmation when that fee is drawn, and I'm also showing you here's what the S&P 500 did, here's what your account did net of the fee. And the intention is, hey, your account net of the fee in the long run will outperform what the total market is doing. So if I don't pay for myself, then let's talk about it, right? Let's have a problem about that. So and then if you're paying me as your manager, then you're not paying me for the meetings, right? As much help as you need in person, whatever, like all of that is basically complimentary in terms of like ongoing planning, consulting, et cetera. As often as you would want to meet, you can meet. You don't have to like pay me out of pocket in that sense. Clark Kent says that's interesting. Random YouTuber. Oh, if you log in with a control number, you can submit questions. Hey, 400 of you guys in here. It's like a full auditorium. T minus 3 minutes. Let's go. Looks like maybe they've stopped the music. Oh no, the music is still there. So crazy. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. Dalrat says, tell him to wait. I'm barely making coffee. Let me log into my computer share and see if I have a control number. I don't know if they'll even take questions. They never have before, but that'd be pretty epic if they did. Let's go. I do not, I don't think I have enough time to worry about this control number thing, to be honest. Yeah, forget it. Guys, it is coming up close. Coming up. Still nothing. Still nothing. Kirby says, let's go. Thanks for doing this, Jeremy. Thank you, Kirby. Hey, thanks. Black Tea American says, very happy with your non-hyped up and straight up factual videos talking about the 8Ks and earnings. I appreciate it. Every now and then I gotta get a little bit of my hype out of the system, but by and large, yeah, on my channel I try to stay very level-headed and just really genuinely talking about the company and insights from the real financials, right? I'm not trying to be a GameStop personality. I'm trying to be like actually valuable for the GameStop community, putting my financial uh, advisor brain and financial analysis. I combined those and called myself a financial analyzer. But actually adding value to you as an investor and to the general public that might consider investing in GameStop, right? Adam says, I like his DD and his fluff. Thanks, Adam. I try to keep the fluff for you too. It is 10 a.m. Okay, I've got the volume low for now. Can you still hear me okay? Can you hear my voice? And I've just got the music playing softly in the background so that I can turn it up once they start talking. Let me know if you can still hear my voice okay at this audio. Yeah, Arrow says yes. Great. Let's go. It's time. It's 7-7. It's 7-7, baby. Let's go. Sounds good. Great. Great. Randy, John, Mastra, deep stretches. Let's go. Let's go. Jerry, man, I'm so glad to see you guys. 491 of you guys in here right now. Absolutely wild to see the level of support for this company, right? And I'm with it. I'm here for it. Alfred says my body is ready. Now 530 of you guys. Let's go. Welcome, welcome. We're about to cover GameStop's 2026 annual shareholder meeting. Are they going to start talking? Are they talking? Oh no. It got quiet for a sec. I got super pumped. Yeah, I'll turn it up once they start talking. Don't worry. Oh, the music is not that quiet. Okay, well, sorry about that. Clark Kent says now 567 likes are needed. So if any of you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Master your money for your future. Welcome to Budget for Life. My name is Jeremy. I'm not a professional YouTuber, as you can probably very plainly see from the quality of my streaming. I am on vacation, doing my best in this little nook of a room to enjoy this shareholder meeting with you and to analyze this shareholder meeting with you. My channel is really focused on level-headed fundamental analysis of GameStop. So if you're looking to learn more about this company, feel free to head to my channel. Most of my videos are quite evergreen in terms of, like, even videos from months ago are still very
Hello
relevant.
and welcome to the annual meeting of stockholders of GameStop Corp. Please note that today's meeting is being recorded. During the meeting, we will have a question and answer session. You can submit questions or comments at any time by clicking on the Q&A icon. It is now my pleasure to turn today's meeting over to Mark Robertson. Mark, the floor is yours.
Good morning. It is now 10:03 a.m. and I call the GameStop 2026 annual meeting of stockholders to order. I'm Mark Robinson, GameStop's General Counsel. Ryan Cohen, our Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of the company's Board of Directors, presides at this meeting and has asked me to conduct this meeting. Please note that any electronic recording or live streaming of this meeting is prohibited. Please also note that remarks made during this meeting, including in any question and answer session, may contain forward-looking statements within the meaning of the Private Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. These statements are based on management's current expectations and involve risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ materially from those described in these statements. We encourage you to review the risk factors and other disclosures contained in our filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, including our most recent annual report on Form 10-K and our quarterly reports on Form 10-Q. Before we get started with other procedural matters, I would like to turn it over to Ryan to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. GameStop is a very different company than it was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, GameStop was a dying brick and mortar retailer. Hardware is cyclical, software went digital, and all the skeptics believed GameStop was dead. GameStop was on the verge of bankruptcy. Since then, we have rebuilt the company. We pivoted to collectibles. Collectibles has grown from 14% of total revenue in 2021 to 42% in the first quarter of 2026. Today, GameStop is a category leader in collectibles, generating approximately $1.2 billion in revenue over the last 4 quarters. We've divested unprofitable parts of the business and removed $826 million in SG&A expense since 2021, a 48% reduction. We delivered the highest first quarter operating income in GameStop's history and have now achieved 8 consecutive quarters of positive net income. In April, we launched Power Packs, digital collectibles for a new generation. This is the buy, sell, trade model meets collectibles in a digital world. We are partnered with the top grading company in the industry. In May, we proposed to acquire eBay at $125 per share. I'm not going to talk about the proposed transaction today beyond what's already public. We're here to work. Thank you for being a shareholder.
Thanks, Ryan. The rules of conduct and the agenda for today's meeting are posted on the virtual meeting portal. In order to conduct an orderly and efficient meeting, we ask that participants abide by the rules. Brooke Webb of Computershare has been appointed to act as the Inspector of Election for this meeting. Ms. Webb took an oath of inspection of election prior to the meeting. We also have members of our board of directors participating today, as well as members of our management and representatives from KPMG LLP, our independent registered public accounting firm. Although KPMG LLP has indicated that it does not wish to make a statement, the representative is available to respond to appropriate questions during the question and answer period. If any stockholders here today have not yet voted and would like to do so, you may submit your vote during the meeting until the polls are announced closed. May 20th, 2026 was set by resolution of the Board of Directors as the record date for today's annual meeting. All stockholders of record or their proxy holders at the close of business on May 20th, 2026 are entitled to vote at the annual meeting. We have made available for inspection a listing of stockholders as of the record date at our corporate office in accordance with the requirements of the Delaware General Corporation Law. Notice of this meeting was duly given in accordance with the company's bylaws and Delaware law. We received an affidavit from Broadridge Financial Services certifying that the notice of annual meeting and proxy statement were sent to stockholders beginning on June 3rd, 2026. The affidavit is available for inspection by any stockholder upon request and will be filed with the company's records. At the close of business on May 20th, 2026, the record date for this meeting, there were 448,691,227 shares of the company's Class A common stock with 1 vote per share issued and outstanding and entitled to vote on all matters presented at this meeting. There are present at this meeting, in person or by proxy, more than a majority of all the shares entitled to cast votes at this meeting. Based on confirmation by the Inspector of Election, I find that a quorum is present and that this meeting is duly constituted for the transaction of business. Each of the matters to be considered today is described in the proxy statement, which was made available as described in the notice of annual meeting. The proxy statement has been filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission and can be found on the Securities and Exchange Commission's website and our website. The first item on our agenda is a proposal to elect 5 directors, with each to serve as a director until the annual meeting of stockholders in 2027, and until his successor is duly elected and qualified. The company's nominees are Mr. Cohen, Mr. Attell, Mr. Chang, Mr. Gruby, and Mr. Turner. The second item on our agenda is a proposal to approve, on a non-binding advisory basis, the compensation of the named executive officers of the company. The third item on our agenda is a proposal to ratify the Audit Committee's appointment of KPMG LLP as the company's independent registered public accounting firm for the company's fiscal year ending January 30th, 2027. The fourth item on our agenda is a proposal to approve a second amendment to our third amended and restated certificate of incorporation to increase the number of authorized shares of our Class A common stock to 2,500,000. Before we proceed, I want to note that the proposed CEO Performance Award for Mr. Cohen, which had originally been included in our proxy statement as a separate proposal, was withdrawn prior to this meeting. Mr. Cohen requested the withdrawal so that stockholders could focus their attention today on GameStop's proposed acquisition of eBay and the business before the meeting. I am directing the Inspector of Election not to tabulate any votes that may have been cast with respect to the CEO Performance Award proposal, and any such votes will not be tabulated nor reported. No stockholder director nominations or stockholder proposals were properly submitted under SEC Rule 14A8 or in accordance with the company's advance notice or proxy access bylaw provisions. It is now 10:11 a.m. The polls are open and stockholders are welcome to vote on the four proposals. Anyone who wishes to change their previous vote or has not yet voted and wants to vote should at this time cast their vote electronically. The polls will be open until the conclusion of any questions related to the specific matters under consideration at this meeting. We will now use this time to answer any stockholder questions on the specific matters under consideration at this meeting. You may submit questions through the meeting portal.
Okay, let's see what questions come up and how it sounds like they're only going to take questions as it relates to these four specific proxy items. Doesn't sound like they're going to take.
All right, I see a number of questions here just about the CEO Performance Award, why it was withdrawn, specifically one here about whether the company is planning another compensation package for Ryan. I believe he deserves to be compensated for what he's done. Another one here, despite the withdrawal, the performance award is the 100 billion market cap target still in place. What I can say there is, as I indicated, Mr. Cohen requested the withdrawal so that our stockholders could focus their attention on GameStop's operating performance and the proposed eBay acquisition. When the board approved the award in January 2026, the company had not yet decided to pursue the eBay transaction. The withdrawal does not modify the terms of the award, however, and is not a concession on its merits. It does, however, remain subject to stockholder approval. The company may, in the future, bring the existing award for stockholder approval. All right, and then a number of questions just related to the eBay transaction, specifically, in addition to previously disclosed plans for cost improvements, are there any specific plans to improve the experience on eBay? Is there a plan to offer another proposal to acquire eBay? What I'd say there is, as we publicly disclosed on May 3rd, we delivered a non-binding proposal to eBay's board to acquire all the outstanding eBay common stock at $125 per share, 50% cash, 50% GameStop common stock, representing a 46% premium to eBay's unaffected closing price. eBay's board did publicly reject that proposal on May 12th. We have continued to build a meaningful economic stake in eBay, and we do remain committed to pursuing a transaction because we believe it represents a compelling opportunity to create value for GameStop stockholders. From the company's perspective, the bottom line is we believe Ryan can lead a combined company that creates significant value.
catch it. I know, I need to, you know. Well, we're shooting up in the air. Can't catch it without one.
All right, I'm not seeing any further questions related to specific matters under consideration at the meeting, and I declare the polls are now closed.
Wow.
Inspector, please tabulate the votes on all of the proposals.
Okay, let's see. Let's see what the vote
I'm
is.
pleased to report the preliminary results of the proposals as follows. Mr. Attell, Mr. Chang, Mr. Cohen, Mr. Gruby, and Mr. Turner have each received a majority of the votes cast, and they've been elected directors. The non-binding advisory vote of the compensation of the named executive officers of the company has been approved by a majority of the shares present or represented by proxy and entitled to vote on this proposal. The ratification of our audit committee's appointment of KPMG LLP as our independent registered public accounting firm for our fiscal year ending January 30th, 2027 has been approved by a majority of the shares present or represented by proxy and entitled to vote on this proposal. And the second amendment to our third amended and restated certificate of incorporation to increase the number of authorized shares of our Class A common stock to 2,500,000,000 has been approved by a majority of the shares entitled to vote on this proposal.
Let's go. Let's go.
I am not aware of any other business that should be brought before this meeting. This concludes the business of this meeting, and the annual meeting of stockholders is now adjourned. Thank you for your attendance and participation. We appreciate all the passion and support you, our stockholders, have for GameStop. This webcast will now end.
This concludes the meeting, and you may now disconnect.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Wow. So we almost got some super exciting news there, which is that 2.5 billion share authorization almost got changed to a 2.5 million share authorization. That would have been quite the rug pull. But 2.5 billion shares authorization approved. That was the most important piece of information that we knew we would get an answer to during this annual shareholder meeting. We got the approval. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that any dilution has happened, right? Right now, there is a float of 448 million shares. If the convertibles convert, if the warrants convert, that goes up to 651 million shares. So there's 1.85 billion shares that GameStop can issue. And of course, GameStop doesn't want to issue all 1.85 billion shares. But when you think about their intentions to acquire eBay, that basically gives them plenty of room, right? Even if GameStop was as low as $15 a share, or really, if they own 15% of eBay in cash, even if it's as low as 13 a share, they could still facilitate a deal with eBay. So they have plenty of share issuance available at their disposal. And of course, right, GameStop does not intend to dilute at $13 a share, right? Cohen himself has bought the stock several times at around $20 a share. So I would be very surprised if eBay's dilution pricing, the issuance pricing for an eventual eBay acquisition, I'd be very surprised if that happened any lower than $20 a share, which would still leave them, right, 700 million or 500 million shares additional to issue at later prices if they want to, right? If they want to sell on squeezes, and they also have 2 billion in buybacks approved, right? So they can buy dips, they can sell peaks, they can generate money for themselves, trading their own stock if they want to. That is the most important concrete news that we got from this shareholder meeting. Another huge piece of information that we got from the shareholder meeting was as it relates to the comp plan. So I discussed on this channel with you guys when this comp plan was withdrawn. I have been very clear that, and some people got really excited in terms of like, oh, Cohen is like rescinding his compensation. He's going to keep working for free. Like he's aligning himself with shareholders. Some people got really excited, like as if Cohen has changed his mind about receiving compensation. And what my position has been is no, Cohen is not changing his mind about receiving compensation. He is simply delaying when he will choose to begin receiving compensation. And one of the big implications that I took away from this withdraw is that GameStop plans to acquire eBay within 1 year or less, right? I do not believe that Cohen would withdraw his performance award if he thought acquiring eBay would take 2+ years. I think if he says, hey, I'm going to go 1 more year without compensation, and that will help make sure that an eBay deal can go through, I can see that aligning. But if he's thinking it might take 2 or 3 more years with no compensation whatsoever, that I don't think he would have withdrawn the performance. But either way, I think he's still intending to get a performance award. That's what I was talking about on my channel way back when, 2 weeks ago. Well, what did we just hear from the annual shareholder meeting? Right? They asked, hey, is $100 million still a price target for GameStop's market cap? Is a new comp plan going to get negotiated, whatever? And Mark Robinson said, actually, the same comp plan, right? Like, we're actually just going to put this comp plan back on the table, right? This long-term performance award, we're just going to wait till we get eBay. And then once we get eBay, we're going to issue a comp plan that will basically be an adjusted version of the already existing comp plan. So GME Legacy shares, 100 billion market cap is still the trajectory that they're looking at, right? And the total value of the compensation for Cohen is still what they're looking at. That was another big piece of fundamental insight from this shareholder meeting is, hey, that issuance or that dilution related to Cohen's compensation, that is still coming. He hasn't rescinded his comp plan. He hasn't changed his mind about receiving compensation. He has chosen to delay when he begins receiving that compensation. Right? So the compensation related dilution will will come eventually. Like it'll probably be voted on. My guess would be next year's annual shareholder meeting that this is part of the vote. Or maybe they're voting it before the annual shareholder meeting and they just start the date from January 7th, 2027, right? That would be my guess, but they want to wait. Of course, the big bottleneck is they want eBay to be acquired or meaningfully acquired before taking votes for the comp, but that comp plan is coming back. That issuance is coming and Cohen will receive compensation. So if the reason why you like Cohen is simply because he does not take compensation, that will not age that well. Like he will take compensation. Now, he will still be a CEO that went 6 years without receiving compensation, right? Which is still pretty stinking incredible. And the compensation he does receive, right, is only after everyone else has been paid, right? The market cap has to grow, right? The market cap hurdle for the warrants is like 15 billion. So the warrants are already well in the money before he even gets 10% of his compensation. All the convertibles are well in the money before he even gets 10% of his compensation. And then, of course, all the other tranches, much higher market cap hurdles. Talking about a company right now that can be bought for $10 billion, despite having, gee, I don't know, $10 billion in cash and securities. Absolutely wild, the value that we continue to see with GameStop. Let me pause there, say what's up in the chat. We'll talk a little bit about stock expectations, kind of what are the next steps, etc., for GameStop. But biggest takeaways for me personally from the meeting, compensation is coming. It's post eBay, but we were essentially correct in our initial speculation on the channel that him rescinding his stock plan or his compensation, not an indefinite reversal, but just a delay. And it signals that eBay will be acquired, in my opinion, within a year or less. Because I don't think he would rescind his comp plan or delay it for that much longer, right? Ultimately, like he wants to get paid on the outperformance of GameStop. If GameStop was going to trade sideways for another 3 years, I think Cohen would say F that. Right? And if GameStop was going to go off for 3 years and Cohen doesn't get any comp for it, I think he would also say F that. Right? I think he wants to get paid very meaningfully for the upside of GME. And I think he's willing to wait some time, but not too much time, right? But the comp's coming back. Right. The other big thing is, of course, the issuance, the 2.5 authorization, right? Not issuance yet, but the authorization, the approval of up to 2.5 billion shares did pass, which gives GameStop the flexibility to acquire eBay, or of course, they could still totally do the Kansas City Shuffle and say, actually, never mind, we're not going to do eBay and we're actually just going to buy back our stock, right? And they initiate, they detonate the stock that way. I don't think that will happen. That to me is talking about stock expectations, like that GameStop dumping 2 billion in their own shares and changing their mind on eBay and totally flipping the value dynamic of their stock that way. I don't think that is likely in light of Cohen's compensation delayed. The delay in this compensation to me means GameStop probably is not going to pull all of their cards, push all of the buttons to send their stock to $100 a share next week, right? I think they want the stock trading at fair value, which is higher than where it is right now. But I don't think they want the stock trading at a premium until after Cohen's comp plan is secured, right? Because Cohen wants to receive compensation on that appreciation. So again, what does all this point to? It points to a fast acquisition of eBay. I do not think GameStop, GameStop shareholders, Ryan Cohen, even the eBay board, I don't think anyone wants GameStop's pursuit of eBay to take years or even months and months and months. Like the big, as far as like how fast can the stock get to 50 a share plus, to me, that really comes down to how fast can GameStop acquire eBay? And I think GameStop intends to acquire eBay fast. All signs to me point to like this will not be a slow incremental bleed, but they desire eBay quickly. What has to happen for GameStop to get to 35 a share? Not too much, right? They don't have to own eBay for that, right? They can support their stock through buybacks. Retail can begin buying in. Roaring Kitty can come back, right? Like we can see momentum to get the convertibles locked in, to get the warrants locked in, to set up the S&P 500 inclusion precedent. Like we can see meaningful upside pre-eBay. And what's the benefit of that? Well, there's 50% upside that could happen before this comp's even touched. Where's the oh, not that one. Cohen's comp plan. 20 billion to me is like somewhat of a glass ceiling. What does that mean? 45 a share. Somewhat of a glass ceiling. I don't think 45 becomes the floor until after comp is approved. I don't think comp is approved until after eBay is acquired. Anything between 22 and 40 is fair game starting today. So what's the benefit of that? Again, it's 50, 60, 70% upside that you could realize over the next 12 months or less, right? 70% upside, and Cohen's still incentivized, like the comp plan is still intact. Shareholders enjoy some fun. GameStop gets some more net cash, right? 2 billion more coming in warrant cash, and then 5 or 4.2 billion in liabilities that could be priced as dilution rather than as debt from the convertible bonds. And perhaps most importantly, GameStop is then set up that much more strongly for an eBay acquisition. Right? When you think about how much dilution will need to happen, well, if we're talking about $30 a share instead of $22 a share, now you're talking about somewhere around $800,000 of issuance, or sorry, 800 million shares of issuance rather than 1.8 billion in issuance, right? So there's a lot of reasons why it's in GameStop's best interest to see movement and momentum above 20 to 22 and closer to 30 or 40. Getting above 30 or 40, as a shareholder, you would love it. Don't get me wrong. As a shareholder, you would love it. You make even more as a shareholder, even faster, and the issuance needed for an eBay deal becomes even lower and even lower, right? That becomes very attractive. The reason why I think that 45, 50 is somewhat of a glass ceiling is just as it relates to Cohen's incentive, right? Which maybe maybe that's not that hard of a glass ceiling to break through. If you start seeing enough momentum on the stock, it's going to do whatever it might do. But will it hold there, right? Will it hold over 50 pre-eBay and pre-Cohen's compensation? I don't know. I just think if I'm Cohen, I have billions of dollars on the line to keep GameStop below 50. Now, again, if GameStop in the next 6 months is at 40 a share, I don't think any of y'all are going to be pissed off. I think a lot of y'all will have made a lot of money. And if GameStop's at 40 and then it scoops up eBay and then Cohen gets some upside from there and beyond, and then we're at 50, 60, 80, 100, 20, 200, like, great. Again, I don't think anyone's upset by that. I think the risk, what would make people upset is if for another year we're at 22. And I don't think Cohen's incentivized for that. I don't think he wants it stuck at 22. I don't think GameStop's incentivized for that. I think they would want it higher. And so I think near term, even pre-eBay, there is meaningful upside. Simply not just because they're pursuing eBay, right? Not just because they're They're obviously like incentivized to limit the share issuance required to buy eBay, but also because fundamentally they're very uh cheaply valued. They're sitting at a 9 PE right now. A 9 PE for a company that's growing as fast as they're growing on top line, margins, SG&A coming down. That's insanity to have that type of PE. So of course, GameStop can support a higher share price. And look, if you think they can support a 35 PE, which if you've been tracking on my channel, if you were to basically take the weighted average floor valuation for their software, hardware, collectibles, power packs business, leave asset management out of it, just talk about the revenue generating portions of their business. No. To me, the floor case is that they command a 30 or $32 or 32 PE right now in the worst case scenario. If you say worst case, they're at a 30 PE right now, again, you're well in the money on the warrants. You're you are converting the convertibles, right? And you are well on your way towards limiting the issuance required for eBay, post eBay, and really eBay or not, I I think Cohen wants his compensation before the like squeeze. Like Jonathan Pickett said, only 40 a share. Like again, I'm not saying that's what GameStop's worth. I think right now, GameStop's worth $145 a share. That's what I think GameStop is worth right now. Or if you want to price in dilution, $100 a share. I think GameStop is worth a 5x right now. What I'm saying is, I don't think Cohen wants it to 5x until he gets paid, right? I don't think he wants it to 5x until he gets paid. But what do I think? I think he wants to get paid. What does that mean? He wants to acquire eBay fast. He doesn't want it to take a long time. He wants to lock that in so that he can lock in his comp so that he can get paid. Until that happens, I think GameStop could easily go to $40 a share. It would not be hard at all for GameStop to support $40 a share right now, easily, even again in the floor case scenario, without pricing in any future growth, just looking at the most conservative, like just trailing 12 month, right? And you price in a very fair PE, like on the worst case scenario, as far as their business, they can support 40 a share. So can they support more than 40 a share? Of course they can support more than 40 a share. Again, I think right now they can support 100 easily. That's just me. And that again, that's not a price target either in terms of like I'm not saying 100 is a ceiling, like I'm just saying from what we've seen so far. So if they're if the business performance keeps going up, then guess what? The fair value is going to keep going up. I'm just saying, based on what we know from the business performance already, what we've already seen so far, they could already support $100 a share. I don't think it will go there until post compensation because it's not in Cohen's best interest, even though it would be in shareholders' best interest. And Cohen is a shareholder. So maybe he wouldn't care, right? Maybe if you want to be the most generous and altruistic in your view of Cohen, maybe he doesn't even care if he gets billions and billions of dollars of compensation. Maybe he just wants to say, surprise, we're going to 1,000 a share today. But I think if I was Cohen, I'd say, look, shareholders, I'm going to give you 20, 40, 50, 70% over the next year. You'll be happy, okay? We're going to start going up, but we're not going to the moon until I'm in the rocket with you guys. Right? I want to lead the spaceship. I want to be the captain, you know. I just think probably you're not going past 50 until he's getting paid. Probably. So again, is that disappointing? Like the stock's down 2% on the immediate reaction to the shareholder meeting. And what I'm trying to, I know I'm being super long-winded, but I'm just trying to encourage you as a potential investor. I do not think GameStop is pinned at 22 until eBay happens. I don't think GameStop is stuck here until eBay happens. I think if we were sitting at 40 right now, I would feel conflicted. I would feel a little bit like we might be trading sideways for 6 to 12 months while we get this eBay and comp situated. But we're not. We're not at 40 or 50. We're at 22. And 22 is not, it's going to be harder and harder to stay there. Again, if you want to be at 22, that means right now you need a, what, oh, yeah. Like right now you're at an 11-ish PE to stay at 22. But guess what? In September, quarter of destiny, right? It's the month of destiny in the quarter of destiny, teeing up GameStop for its destiny. All of a sudden, you add another 90 million to trailing 12-month operating income. To stay at 22, you need to be at an 8 PE. Well, is PE going to compress from 11 to 8 on a growing, increasingly impressive business? Probably not, you know? But if you want to stay at 22 after Q3 numbers come out, well, now you're going to have to be at a 6 PE. Is the PE going to compress from an 8 to a 6? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like I think there's meaningful upside for shareholders, even while as a shareholder, we remain in a bit of limbo between the promise and the fulfillment. A little bit of limbo between the intention and the execution, right? Until the comp is approved, until eBay is acquired, at least until we see some detailed uh some detailed presentation on strategic rationale. Like we are in a little bit of limbo until those things happen. You know what I mean? But just because we're in limbo doesn't mean the stock is pinned. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. How we doing, guys? 443 of you guys still hanging out. I think we might have touched 1,000. I don't know. Do y'all think we touched 1,000 in here? How are the vibes? How are we feeling today about GameStop? Overall, we got a pretty dry shareholder meeting. Okay, Nitrous needs to get blocked, huh? Okay, Nitrous, I won't block you, but some people are saying that you're being mean, so here's a fat 10-minute timeout for you. There you go. Adam says 950-ish. 986. We got to 986? Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Brock'em Sock'em says, I'm tired but numb, hoping for more news soon. Carl is bullish AF, of course. Afghan says, Power Pack opening time just to add some spicy sauce to the stream. Love it. I don't want to distract from the theme of this being the shareholder meeting. What do you make of the details of the deal to be forthcoming? It's Ray said a detailed presentation is coming. It's true. They're late on this detailed presentation. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they post it after hours today. Like, I think I'm really I'm excited about what I've seen from Cohen and GameStop over the past 5 weeks or so, where I feel like every week there's at least one card that they're ready to play. Like this week, it's the annual shareholder meeting that they knew was coming today. The let's look at some just from their news releases, right? Like starting in May, hey, we're gonna buy eBay, right? And then other weeks it's interviews, right? Another Cohen interview here, another Cohen interview there. And then it's the early press release of the quarter results, right? So the first week of June, hey, here's the early numbers. The next week, here's the actual 10Q, right? The next week, here's another Cohen interview. The next week, oh, Cohen's withdrawing his performance. The next week, we have forward outlook, right? Um, we have earnings estimates, right? Future estimates. The next week, annual shareholders meeting. What's to come? Well, we know there's at least one more thing still to come right now. And you also have increasing eBay buys happening throughout that time, where, oh, they actually own even more of eBay now than they did before. And then you have, some tweets and retweets from Cohen or from the company, right? They're getting they're ramping up the heat. They're getting more direct, more intense, more frequent. And to me, like it's very exciting. It's a very exciting observation because they haven't done that ever, right? In this whole stretch, I know a lot of you guys are saying you're tired, right? In this whole stretch, GameStop has never done that. This whole time, all Cohen said is, we're not here to make false promises, right? We're not here to hype anything. We're here to work. It's gonna buckle up, right? It's gonna be long, hard, and painful, right? And now they're talking their talk. You know what I mean? And they're performing like crazy, right? The numbers are blowing up. Power packs also. Another huge takeaway for me from this shareholder meeting. Power packs gets a shout out from Cohen in the shareholder meeting, which is crazy because literally the last video I made, what I learned spending 14K at GameStop, the TLDR or TLDW of this video is that Power Packs is the future. Power Packs is such a compelling value proposition. It's insane. It's insane. Cohen giving Power Packs a shout out during the annual shareholder meeting is super bullish. Like it's super confirming that like Power Packs is doing what I think they could do. It's Night says, I think potentially eBay reached out and they're talking, so no public presentation is needed for now. Yeah, again, I think the eBay deal will ramp up soon, but on Superstock over the weekend, like I don't know if I can even find it, but was it Cohen or like yeah, Cohen on X posting this photo of this lady that is wearing a GameStop hat that apparently is Brett Icon's wife. Brett Icon being the son of Carl Icon, and apparently that they're in California, right? Like they are they're talking to someone. They've got an institutional investor that they're bringing with them. They're in California, right? I don't think it's too speculative to say eBay might have finally come to the table, you know? Pretty exciting. Power packs, getting a shout out from Cohen. We talked before the call started on Ryan Cohen's statement in 2025, right? And in 2025, Ryan Cohen said a lot about this line right here, collectibles. And we thought, hey, at the time that Cohen made those statements, we were excited, but we didn't even realize what was coming. That's what we talked, right? Go back to the go back to the beginning part of this stream. We talked about that. What does Ryan Cohen talk about this year? He doesn't give a shout out to collectibles. He gives a shout out to power packs. Power packs. So again, last year, when Cohen shouts out collectibles, margins are somewhere around 30%. Collectibles are somewhere around 200 million a year. And we thought, oh, that's cool. Like, yeah, trading cards. That's cool. But no one even really thought too hard about it because everyone's just sitting here like, but the stock is down. Like, this must be bad news because the stock is down. You see, Jeremy? You see Budget for Life? You see Dwayne, as my 5-year-old son called me yesterday? My, my middle name is Wayne, but he called me Dwayne. And I appreciate it. I thought it was a compliment. I am something of a rock myself, Hudson. Um, anyways, no one gave too much thought to how important the collectibles statements were from Cohen because they're distracted by the stock price. But what we know is over the past 4 quarters, since those statements have been made, margins have gone up like over 25%. Margins are over 40% now. Collectibles are over 40%, right? The collectibles business has gone up 65% year over year. Dwayne the Stock Johnson, baby. Let's go. Let's go. I'm gonna pin that. How do I pin that mess? I don't know what does pinning a message in a chat even mean? I don't know, but I just pinned your message, Skybike. That was so funny. Um, okay, Zimmer. I'm putting you in timeout because you're also being crazy. Absolutely crazy. What is life is asking me if I think the market crash will happen first or GameStop will moon first. I don't think, again, I don't think moon is happening until the uh after the comp is happening, but I think 100% upside, right? A double could absolutely happen over the next 6 months. And I think an eBay acquisition could be fulfilled within 6 months. So like I think GameStop mooning will happen first to answer your question. I don't think the stock will crash organically. I think GameStop mooning will be what causes the market to crash. And GameStop controls its own destiny. It doesn't need Japan to do anything with its interest rates. It doesn't need an AI bubble to burst or a slowdown to happen in GDP. None of those things will even cause the market to crash because they can just print more money, right? They can just find a way. But GameStop can moon. GameStop can become easily 10 times more valuable within 6 months. Easily. I mean, it's not easy, but like it's not 17 things they have to do to then conjure up a spell to then make that happen. Like they can genuinely, very simply be worth that much. And I think if they are, then it would cause a market crash. I think there's still plenty of legacy shorts on GameStop stock. So there is that. Hyper asks, how long have I been in GME? Since January of 2021 is how long I've been in GME. Diogo says, how is that easy? Like, how could that just happen? How could GameStop be worth 10 times what they are right now? How could GameStop be worth $100 billion within 6 months? Well, let's see. In the fly case scenario, right now, GameStop's already worth $137 billion. So if they own eBay, it's even crazier. You know what I mean? So no one really likes my super dry valuation videos. They don't get as many clicks, but I think it's super important to understand the company, right? But I think GameStop already, based on their numbers, if you believe in Cohen as an asset manager, if you see the undervaluing eBay, if you see the growth trajectory with collectibles and power packs and GameStop's competitive position there, if you see the legacy short interest on GameStop, then it's very simple to say, yeah, GameStop right now, I'm selling at. It doesn't even mean you're selling when this happens, by the way, because by the time this happens, new information has also come. So by the time GameStop crosses $137 billion in market cap, they could very well be worth much more than that. Like you have to take the data right now. It's Night says the valuation vids are my favorite. Clark Kent likes them as well. Thank you so much. What is Life says, why would GME mooning cause a market crash? I don't know, because it did. Maybe because it did. Even the short interest where it is right now, at 14%, like that's basically what Volkswagen's short interest was before it totally squeezed in 2008. The market's crashing. Volkswagen's the most valuable company in the world. Like it's infinite risk. One single short is infinite risk, right? So when you stack them on top of each other, that's when infinity gets a little bigger all of a sudden. But it doesn't take a lot of short interest. If GameStop becomes much more valuable, it doesn't take a lot of shorts to continue sending the stock higher because the price could, the fair value price could change overnight. If GameStop acquires eBay overnight, that's accretive. Overnight, that's valuable. So it's not like, oh, there's some shorts can close at 22 and then 23 and then 24 and then 25 and then 20. Overnight, GameStop could be $50 a share. Right? So like it's not, again, the short pressure is just the cherry on top to the fundamental transformation. And the fundamental transformation is pretty wild. It's pretty wild. What was I feel like I missed a question from earlier. A lot of great questions here. I think the warrants, if they're not in the money, will be extended. Yes. What else? What else? Thoughts on Moist? Critical hating on GME? Who's Moist? What's Moist have to do against GME? Easy Rider says, would Jimmy have to be trading it above 35 to convert the convertibles? Oh, he means the warrants. No, you could convert the warrants right now. Some people have. Like you can convert them whenever you want to, but you're not incentivized to until GameStop is trading above the value of the warrants in addition to the share price. So yeah, around 2035 right now. Um, oh, Moist says he made a video 3 days ago about how they're selling Pokemon at scalper prices. That's not even news. And by the way, so did I, and mine's even more recent, right? And I'm very bullish on GameStop. If GameStop, if people didn't buy them, GameStop wouldn't sell them, right? Everyone complains about scalper prices. That's one of the reasons why Power Packs is the future, guys. It's one of the reasons why Power Packs is the future. But GameStop selling at scalper prices allows GameStop to sell to consumers. Do you want to go to Walmart and follow the employee from the warehouse to the shelf and then punch people trying to get the cards, right? Like everywhere that sells at if you're a retailer, if you're Walmart, are you so good because you sold all of your inventory right away to scalpers? You're putting your employees in danger and you're helping out the scalper market, and you never have anything in stock. People come to your store and they can never buy Pokemon because you're sold out. Is that so cool of Target to do that? Is that so cool of Best Buy? Why is it cool for them to sell to scalpers and it's uncool for GameStop to sell to consumers? GameStop, by the way, makes more money, which is awesome for the company. Some of y'all are hating as if that's bad. I'm like, look, do you own the stock or not? Like, y'all are crazy. It's good for GameStop. They make more money. And it's good for the consumer because they can actually buy Pokemon. I can go to a GameStop store, which I did several days in a row last week. Right? I bought some cards and some more cards and some more cards and some more cards. And you know what the store had? Pokemon available for purchase in the store. You know what I mean? Like, if someone doesn't want that, then I don't know what you're rooting for. So to me, it's not unethical at all. It's not unethical at all to sell at scalper prices. It's like calling GameStop a meme stock. It's like, no, it's a company, it's a stock. It's not a meme stock. Selling at scalper prices. GameStop doesn't sell at scalper prices. They sell at the market value. Is that so crazy? Is that so crazy for a store to sell cards at market value? You know what I mean? Like, that's wild. So, and if everyone's, I don't know, as a consumer, I don't know why you would be upset about that. And as a uh shareholder, I don't know why you would be upset about that. Zimmer says it's unethical by all means. What is? What is, Zimmer? It's unethical for a company to sell an item, or it's unethical for a consumer to buy the item. What do you think, Zimmer? If a customer is happily buying something and the company is happily selling it, what's the moral law that's been broken there, Zimmer? Selling product at market price as opposed to MSRP? Who is happily buying these? Me, dude. Me. Again and again and again. And a lot of other people. And pre-ordering the next one. A Trivial says the S in MSRP is suggested, not required. So selling things at market value is unethical. Okay, Zimmer. Zimmer says, so you're saying you wouldn't rather buy at other stores at MSRP? Zimmer, they're not available half the time. You can't get them because they sell out to scalpers. And scalpers are screwing people sometimes too, right? I would rather pay market price to a reputable retailer than pay market price to some scalper on eBay. At least then I know like I'm gonna get it. I can see it. It's right there. And this person, they might try to screw me somehow. It might take 3 weeks. They might take down the auction, whatever, you know? And Zenji says people that don't want to wait in line for 6+ hours. Yeah, how about that? I don't want to wait 6+ hours in line and fight people. I don't want to fight people in a store. Are you crazy? No way. Zimmer is wondering if I think GameStop is deflecting clientele. Well, they don't have clientele, and they certainly don't deflect things. Do I think they are losing money? Everyone Zimmer knows refuses to go to GameStop for products. Let's see. Hold on, Zimmer. Did the people you know used to go to GameStop for product? Did they used to go to GameStop? Or they just stopped going because of their unethical scalper prices, aka selling things for market value? I don't know. It sounds to me like Zimmer's crew really liked going to GameStop. I don't know, back when maybe they made 200 million in collectibles, and now that they're so unethical, oh, actually, yeah, a lot more people buy at GameStop. You know what I mean? Like, oh, geez. Yeah, let's see. What's happening to their collectible sales per store, anyways? Oh my gosh. Zimmer, you're right. Look at this. Let's zoom in on this. Collectibles year-over-year growth. Oh my gosh, Zimmer. GameStop is deflecting their clientele. They are. The clientele is so deflected right now. It's crazy, dude. Yeah, 125% year-over-year growth. No one, everyone never would ever buy from GameStop. It's crazy. It's not literally twice as many people buying from GameStop. It's crazy. Oh, it's true. Yeah, they did used to really like it. Okay, Zimmer. I'll see it. I'll see you tomorrow, Zimmer. It's funny. Zimmer's last question is, so you're saying GameStop has a great public image? No. Literally, when have I even ever said that? Like, GameStop's public image is one of the things I'm really excited to them uh correcting. And yeah, I think them becoming more and more profitable as a company is a huge part of them improving their public image. Like, have y'all heard Cohen in his interviews? Like, even in his shareholder meeting, right? When I took over GameStop, which apparently is the GameStop that Zimmer and his friends loved, right? They used to love going to GameStop. Cohen literally just shared in the annual shareholder meeting that when he took over GameStop, it was a piece of crap company, right? Like, okay, they had a great and by the way, was their public image great then? No, like they were still made fun of, right? Trade-in values are too low. Everything's so old. No one goes here anymore. Everything's digital. At least now they make money. Like at least there is a business to have an image. If it wasn't for Cohen increasing their profitability, this wouldn't even be a company anymore. You know? What's what's Blockbuster's public image? It's great. Everyone loves it. It is genuinely such nostalgia, right? Such brand value. What's Toys R Us's public image? It's a wonderful public image, Zimmer. It's an amazing image. And they're bankrupt, right? So, okay, is GameStop's public image worse now than it was 5 years ago? No, it's not worse. You can hear it in Cohen's voice as publicly he's been defending the company. And by the way, their social media team's hilarious. They've been going to war against eBay, war against corporate America. Like they're doing a lot to gain goodwill in than it was 5 years ago. But it's still a rough one. It's still the butt of every joke. It's still called a meme stock. It's still called scalper prices. It can't just be a company that sells inventory at market value. No, no, that'd be way too normal, right? We have to throw all this shade. We have to be so negative. But the reality is the public image is better now than it was, and at least there's a company in existence to have a public image. Aging Wheat Harmer says, I also have a negative image and a strong balance sheet. Nice, wheat farmer. Love it. Love it. Man, very fun. I wonder if is the actual transcript posted on Superstunk? Let's see. Doesn't look like it. Oh, what's up? Hey. Hey, let's see what everyone's hating about me. Oh, look, it's me self-promoting. It's me. It's me, Adam. Uh, that's funny. Who the F is Jeremy? Right? Who the F is Jeremy? Sometimes these are fun. Transcript is not here. I was interested to hear his exact phrasing on power packs. He gave it like 1.5 sentences, and I'm interested to read it over and think about it a little bit harder. Sweating the Music says, I just have a negative image. Anthony says, you're not supposed to read the comments, Jeremy. They're toxic at best. Okay, great. It's not a daily habit of mine, but by any means. But I figured since I was live, I'd humor it. But yeah, some people don't like that I have wallets for sale. Which, by the way, guys, I sold my second wallet. So what's up? What's up, gangsters? Some people don't like that that I co-founded a budget software. Should I talk about that too? The OG Budget for Life. Some people don't like that I have a budget software. Some people don't like that I'm a financial advisor, right? Sorry guys, I'm not a full-time YouTuber. Some people don't like that I'm not a YouTuber. Some people don't like that I say that I'm not a YouTuber because they think that I am a YouTuber. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. I have a real job. I'm not allowed to talk about it. Some people don't like that I talk about my kids. I'll post a picture of my kid and they're like, how are you such an evil, horrible father? And I'm like, geez, I don't know. That's a tough question to answer because I don't think I agree with the premise of the question. You know, like, um, so anyways, I am, I'm not like ashamed of my real world life, you know. And occasionally if I talk about it, it's not a big deal to me. But if you look at the 261 videos I've made, like how many of those am I talking about me, like my financial practice and what it's like as a client? You know, like I literally don't think I ever have. I think this is the first time I've even talked about how it works, you know, and a couple y'all were kind of asking some questions about it. Um, so anyways, Larry Jones says Jeremy sucks. Larry's one of my besties. Larry, you suck. Go back to work, Larry. Aren't you at work? Ashton Kutcher says, Jeremy, talk about anything you feel like talking about. None of these yappers add substance to the discussion. I appreciate it. Oh, sweating the music says, what kind of wallet? Okay, well, someone's gonna hate that I'm talking about the wallet. We've talked actually way too much about this wallet recently, but I think it's like here in the yeah, at the bottom of every video you can look at it. It's a wallet. Italian leather. It's pretty cool. I like it a lot. And it has the Budget for Life branding on it, right? That's the wallet. Karudi says Jeremy grifted me so hard after watching his videos, I invested another 50K in GameStop instead of buying bonds. Let's go. Cheers. Cheers. I am actually talking about uh my personal life, personal strategy portfolio thoughts. Um what are we talking about? Purchase not yet sold, right? These cards here, it's a lot of Pokemon cards going on. Main goal is let's send some money to GameStop, right? $14,000 that I've spent in the past couple weeks at GameStop. Here's the thing though, guys. GameStop's at $22 a share. $22 a share, and I think they've got a clear runway to above 40 this calendar year or to around 40. I think they have a clear runway for that and an even clearer runway to 50, 60 plus in 12 months or 18 months, maybe 100 plus. And so fundamentally, right, I am a financial advisor. I like owning businesses more than I like owning store of value. I would rather have as concentrated of a position in companies rather than in cash and equivalents at the right price, right? And if GameStop sits there at 22, this is what I'm externally processing with you guys is, do I just sell everything? And in doing so, I will have turned 14K into probably 11K if I were to sell it all today. The question is, right, I have 18 months before this money is due, right? I talked about I bought this on a 0% APR credit card. If I spend 14K that I could then hold in cards, do the cards, are the cards worth more in a year and a half than the stock would be in a year and a half? I think probably the stock's going to be worth more. Right, so we'll see. I don't. I'd rather keep some cards to kind of track it, to experience it, to have some fun with just kind of slowly winding these down over the coming weeks. But if this entices, if I look at this too long, I'm going to get enticed. I'm going to get enticed, and I'm going to say, you know what? If I have 11K and in a year and a half I have to pay 14K back, like is GME is GME 30% higher in a year and a half? A year and a half is GME at 28? Ah, it's hard to imagine it lower than that, right? So I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm already all in on my personal GME position. Oh, by the way, check it out. Wallet sale added 4 shares to the Budget for Life Infinity Pool. So cheers to you guys. But look, we're officially like we're right below, right at the cost basis. If I can lower the Budget for Life cost basis, oops, and scoop up shares super, super cheap, I don't mind borrowing 14 to put 11 into GME. If the 14's not due for a year and a half, so we might see a big dump on the not yet sold, and I might just have a big fat loss on the merch. It could happen because this is getting juicy, guys. Larry retracted a message. I didn't see it, Larry. That's cool. Foxzig said, I've noticed the cards I have are appreciating literally every day. Yeah, I might want to hold on to the cards, but it's getting it's getting exciting. It's getting exciting. Um that I kind of got to use the restroom, and I think we should probably call it a day so that this doesn't get too long as far as reacting specifically to the annual shareholder meeting. But overall, Power Packs is it's the big clue, right? Last year, collectibles was the big clue. You didn't have to read between the lines. He told you. And it ended up being even a bigger deal than anyone thought. This year, it's Power Packs. Power Packs is the big thing, the big clue that is going to transform. It's going to be more meaningful than we think over the coming 12 months as it relates to GameStop. eBay Pursuit is in focus and with and at an ASAP. It's in focus and ASAP. They already probably have talked to eBay, right? With the icon money backing them, which speculatively the icons have been involved with Cohen since Cohen posted a picture of them back in the day, and nothing has come up yet from that photo. And when he posted a photo of him with the MSTR guy, he did then a few months later buy some Bitcoin, the MicroStrategy guy. So like what is the picture with Icon all about? Are they part of the 20 billion in financing? Right? Punky says, doesn't Icon also hate Steve Cohen? That would be great. I didn't even know that, but that would be quite enjoyable if that was the case. But so power packs, right? A big thing. eBay happening in the here and now, near term, 1 year or less, could be this calendar year, right? They didn't say much about it on the stream, but from Cohen's tweet and the implications of Cohen delaying his comp plan, all the incentive aligns with eBay pursuit is hot. It's a hot pursuit. Cohen's comp is coming back. It's delayed, not rescinded. And the market cap of 100 billion for GME legacy shareholders is coming back with it, right? He's not less bullish on GME now than he was then. The incentives of Cohen and GameStop right now are for GameStop to appreciate as soon as today, right? Now, once we get to 40, 45 a share, I think the incentives become mixed. For shareholders in general, of course, you still want it higher and higher, but for Cohen in particular, in light of his comp plan not yet being authorized, approved, I think he becomes less incentivized once you're at 40 plus a share, especially 45. But you have a double that could still happen before you're even really concerned about that. And again, by the time we cross that threshold, perhaps eBay is already purchased. And of course, the most concrete takeaway being the share authorization at 2.5 billion shares approved. So GameStop officially has what they need to facilitate a deal. GameStop has what they need to facilitate a deal. The finances are lined up. They're already talking with eBay. We could see an agreement soon. We could see an agreement very soon. I don't think it's happening tomorrow. I mean, after all, we haven't even gotten the detailed presentation. Will we get the presentation or will they just will they just be acquired, right? If they just start a conversation, probably they're not going to be acquired tomorrow. But we await a detailed presentation. We await to see GameStop maybe implementing some buybacks, right? We needed this authorization to get locked in before we were officially in green light season for the stock to run. Now there's really no reason why it wouldn't run, at least over the span of from 20 to 45 a share. At that point, you could argue there's at least one reason why it wouldn't run, which is Cohen's mixed incentive at that point. So we will see. A lot to come. That's all I got for you today, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Cheers, and I'll see you in the next one.